Sacred moments. Sacred moments with you. Sacred moments. Yeah. Enter in sacred moments. I'm here in this space on this day with you. I'm here in this sacred space witnessing the morning dew. Sacred moments. In voice and in victory, we will share our thoughtful view, conversing and even challenging things we thought we knew. Sacred moments. With expectancy and excitement is this time set aside. Won't you enter in with us? And come on, let's take this ride. Riding the waves of wonder and whimsy, we're not here to do silly or flimsy. We're sacred moments. We are here open to listen and engage and converse. You know I'm going to keep the triune God in sight and first. I'm here with you on this holy mountain of meaning, sharing vows and syllables, discussing powerful gleanings. It's sacred moments. With songs and sonnets and poems and prose, this is not just another one of those radio shows. It's sacred moments. It's sacred moments with me as your host, here to clear and create and commune with you from coast to coast. It's sacred moments. Enter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's sacred moments. It's sacred moments. This might be my new theme song. Good morning. Okay, wherever you're at. Good morning. It's sacred moments. This is the only place I can sing and not get paid.
That's a little hip hop beat you added to it.
Oh, yes. I'm working on that. I think I'm going to try to do a rap too.
Okay.
So interesting enough, I had one of my granddaughter's birthday was yesterday. And my family, my gift, my precious gift to every member of my family is I get to sing to them happy birthday in the Stevie Wonder style. Wow. After 25 years, 17 years as my grandkids are, they're like, oh, Lord God, here she come again. I was like, I will sing. And when I'm not here, y'all going to be like, my mom used to sing to us on our birthday.
Yeah. My mom, she always be like, y'all sing the corny version. Let's do this one. She do it every time. She always want to sing that one.
Exactly. Yeah. We can't go back to the other version. It was nice. Well, we ain't know better. But now Stevie Wonder done blew us up, right?
You said
I want to say we did that at my former job with a person of another hue, and they were like, "Oh, I never heard that version before."
That's funny.
Oh man. Good morning, Alter Ego. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm up.
Now, are your glasses purple today?
They're like burgundy-ish.
Okay.
It's like a red purple kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I put on purple lipstick. It's a Clergy Appreciation Month, which we're going to be talking about. And purple for me and purple polish, it signifies like the womanist theology, which I'm very interested in, based on started at, from like The Color Purple, which is like probably in my top 5 movies, probably top 3 movies. So we're purple today. Purple celebrating Clergy Appreciation Month and women in clergy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning, audience. Good morning, international and national guests. We are happy to have you. And it is another Sunday of sacred moments at 9 a.m. on the East Coast. And I don't know what time it is where you're at, but we are so happy that you jumped on and came on with us this morning. We were actually going to get started right away. After I asked the question I asked Khadija Alter Ego, how was your week? I ask that every week. How was your week, audience? Put in the chat and let us know how your week was. But Alter Ego, how was your week?
My week was good. It was good. It's always something with the kids, but it was good. So my week is starting again today. I'm
Yeah,
back to work, but I'm blessed to have a job, and I'm not gonna complain.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's been the news has been pretty much the same. Politics,
Mhm.
rumors of wars, all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff going on, and I tell you, we better hold on to God's unchanging hand. Maybe that's what I
Mhm.
should have saying. Hold on to God's unchanging hand because woo, I tell you,
Yeah.
we are praying about all of these different things. I ended my series. As many of you know, I have a Facebook Live ministry called Sacred Space Ministry, and we did 6 weeks of a series called The Tactics of the Enemy, where we looked at discouragement, we looked at distraction, we looked at shame. Um, and actually they just all went out my head. But we really, really did have a good 6 weeks of teaching. And if anybody's interested, the posts are still listed on my Facebook page, Be Michelle Horton. And we ended that series, and now we're going to just take probably a week off and come back and see what God is going to say there. But today, I'm so excited. We are talking about our topic is clergy in action. Clergy in action, celebrating Clergy Appreciation Month. And we have a special guest today that will be coming in the room in just about 30 seconds. But I want you to know our guest is Reverend Dr. Kimberlee A. Johnson. She's an educator, an administrator, passionate preacher, justice advocate, and clergy leader whose love for God and humanity has fueled this lifetime service of academic and church and community settings. She is currently the interim dean of Palmer Theological Seminary and Palmer College, director of the prison education program, and many, many other things, avid gardener. And she is one of my mentors in ministry um, that just has been such a blessing to me in my life, and not just me, many others. So we're going to talk about Clergy Appreciation Month, and we're going to bring on Dr. Kimberlee A. Johnson to have this great conversation with us this morning. Clergy in action,
Good
celebrating
morning.
Good
Appreciation Month.
morning.
Yay!
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Grace and peace.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we always ask how was your week, and then we're going to get started with a really kind of quirky question or two. So get ready. Hold on.
Okay. I like quirky. So
Okay.
good. I'm
Good,
down
good.
with that. How was my week? My week was busy. My weeks have been pretty busy here lately since becoming the interim dean at Palmer Theological Seminary. And it's a good busy, not a like, oh no, busy. And so I'm grateful for the week that I've had.
Good, good,
That's
good, good,
good.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We made it, as they say.
We
Mhm.
did.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes. So I'm gonna ask you two questions, I think, this morning.
I thought
Just
one question. Okay, two questions.
yeah, we might, I'm asking two. It you never know. Um, if you were in a reality show, what kind of reality show would you appear in? Hmm. Yeah, we asked some really good questions around here.
So, if I were in a reality show, what kind of reality show would I want to be in?
Yeah. This is your moment.
Mm. So I have two answers. May I give two answers?
Yes.
So there is actually a show on Netflix right now called The Chair.
Mm.
And it's about an Asian woman who becomes the chair of her department at the university and the things she has to navigate as a woman and as a person of color. And I forget the star's name. It's the woman that played Christina Yang on Grey's Anatomy, for those of you who were Grey's Anatomy fans out there.
Oh,
But
wow.
a reality show about what happens behind the scenes in higher ed would be great. And I don't think it's been done.
Oh.
I would love to do something like that. And then I also thought about maybe a reality show about activism, like life on the streets.
Oh.
That'll be a good one.
An activist and to do grassroots kinds of work alongside and on behalf of people who are experiencing oppression and injustice.
I actually like that.
Yeah,
We
they don't
might
have
have
any
to.
like that.
You like that too,
Yeah,
Altaega?
they don't have any shows like that.
Are we going to start something?
I think so.
This might be the beginning of something.
This
Nobody
is it right here.
idea.
Anybody that tries to take the ideal, this is here. We see it right now. We hear it. This is our
Yeah.
proof that we started it.
Yeah.
Jasmine said, Jasmine Johnson said, how
She
you
said
pronounce-
cooking.
Yeah, cooking show, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I cook a lot. Yeah.
Mm. Do you cook a lot?
I used to.
Okay. Yeah. People find that to be relaxing, they tell me. And I used to, but not anymore. Okay. Final question, and then we're going to get right into our topic. I love this one. Which of Snow White's 7 dwarfs describes you the best?
First of all, I don't know
Bashful,
who they are.
bashful, Doc, dopey, grumpy, happy, sleepy, sneezy.
Oh, wow. Maybe lately sleepy, busy, so maybe lately sleepy.
Okay.
You said busy. We could add a new dwarf. His name could be Busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
Dwarf number 8.
Right.
So, Dr. Johnson, I know you from being a part of the Fellowship of Women Clergy. And even before that, I heard different things about your activism when I didn't know you personally. You have a really intense and extensive bio from higher education, seminary training. You made history as the first woman, if I'm not mistaken, that was ordained at your former church. That had to be something. We're talking about Clergy Appreciation Month, serving in many leadership capacities. I want to ask 2 questions. First being, how did you get so involved in activism? Because many times when we hear clergy, right, we think of Sunday morning and maybe Wednesday night or Tuesday night Bible study, and then that's pretty much that you think a person of clergy is doing. But you've given us evidence in your lived experience of being someone that's interested. You're the director of the prison education program, advocacy work in the streets. How did that come about for you?
Well,
Excuse me.
Trying to think of the genesis of this. I've always been a person who has been concerned about the plights of other people. I'm an empathetic person. So I think some of it is just part of who I am and how God has made me and nurtured me over the years. But I think a defining moment for me was when I was teaching a course called Urban Youth Culture. And I was teaching in a program at Eastern University called the Cross Boundaries program. And we actually had high school students who were taking college level classes. And so this was a first year course, Urban Youth Culture, but I was teaching urban youth culture to urban youth. So you already know they're teaching me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But a segment of that syllabus was dedicated to understanding youth who had been in the criminal justice system.
Hmm.
And I realized I inherited a syllabus that had a topic that I didn't really know as much about as I needed to know.
Okay.
So I began to read, I began to listen to the young people who were in the class. And I read an article called, I cannot remember the author's name. It was actually an essay in a book called something like, "Why Does America Criminalize Youth?"
Hmm.
And it was that article that really
Hmm.
got me thinking about how my faith was or really wasn't coming to bear on such a critical issue.
Okay.
And so I actually joined an organization called the Coalition for Juvenile Justice. It's headquartered in Washington, D.C. They're not a Christian organization. They're not faith-based at all. But they were doing fierce advocacy work on behalf of young people, particularly young people tried as adults. And I just started hanging out with those guys. I attended the trainings. They
Hmm.
things like teach you how to do advocacy on Capitol Hill. And so I just got involved in all of that. And once I had a little bit of training that took away some of the fear I had around using my voice and becoming more active in those kinds of ways, I started to do forums on justice and on youth justice and those kinds of things. And I started to invite in other faith leaders that I knew to talk about those kinds of things because it wasn't being talked about, at least not in the church that I was in. Right now, everybody seems to be talking about mass incarceration and
Yeah.
emptying prisons and all this kind. But back then, nobody was really talking about that. And yeah, and so I really had that concern. And then after that, I think really my faith kicked in really after the fact, and I started searching the scriptures like, okay, is God concerned about this?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is this
Hmm.
just me?
Hmm.
And you need only to go to Jesus' mission statement to know that Jesus is concerned about people who are oppressed in society.
Exactly. Exactly.
Before. And so uh, that fueled it. I'm not sure if that exactly answers your question.
Yeah. Hmm.
The
Yeah.
beginning of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, it hasn't stopped. It just, and
Right.
the cares of the world. I mean, if we do follow, Jesus' mission statement, then we will be touching all of these areas all across the world with people who are oppressed, and people who are in prison, wrongly in prison many times.
Hmm.
And I really appreciate the fact that just looking at the youth, and how a life is changed by a mistake, right? Or maybe by a youthful mistake, an immature mistake, and catapults their whole life to take them downward instead of trying to really do what the system is not always doing, which is rehabilitating.
Yeah. One of
Yeah.
the things I love about Jesus is that his ministry was incarnational. I mean, the very
Yes.
fact that God breaks into human worldly existence in the form of
Yeah.
a is incarnational, right? That is incarnation. But
Yeah.
then, he's not born among the high and lifted up, the political leaders,
Yeah.
things. He's born among the lowly, uh,
Hmm.
and he ministers to the lowly.
Hmm.
And that resonates with me. I want to follow that example. When I first came to Christ, I was a teenager and I wanted to learn what it meant to be a Christian. Even though I grew up in a church, my godfather was the pastor. I learned the
Oh, I didn't
story.
know that.
Yeah. Third Christian Church, no longer. But I knew all the Bible stories, but I didn't really know about the practical ways you really live this thing out.
Yeah.
And I remember my pastor told me, shout out to Pastor Lovett, told me to shadow a woman named Viola James. She was a senior citizen in our church, prayer warrior. She's going home to be with God now. I followed her. Now picture me, I'm this teenager following this old lady around, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to be a good setup right here. And but let me tell you what I learned from her. I learned how to pray.
Wow.
I learned how to go and visit people and have an appropriate visit. I mean, she would go to nursing homes. She would go take food to people who needed food. We would go to housing projects together.
Wow.
So wherever she went, I just got on in the car and rolled with Mother James. And that example also, I think, has influenced me in terms of just knowing how to connect with people. I feel like God has equip me and shape me and help me to be able to serve in a lot of different kinds of settings.
Yeah.
And I really do give God honor for that. So, you put me in a prison, I'm okay. Uh, you put me with a senator, I'm okay. But I think part of what it means to be a Christian is to show up as your authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
your personality, with your gifts, with your experiences, with your passions, and go for it as the Spirit enables you.
I really appreciate two things. One, that you said, it kind of reminds me a little bit of me and Alter Ego in this moment, because I've known her mother over 40 years now. So, I've adopted her in my heart. And, this intergenerational divide doesn't have to be a divide if we just allow our faith and love to be the essence of any and every relationship. So I really appreciate you bringing that point out. And also, um, dispelling this fallacy that Christianity is a Sunday and Wednesday religion. It is, what Romans 12, 1 and 2, that I say all the time in the Message Bible, that we take our everyday, ordinary, going to work, walking around life, and present it before God in whatever way that happens, and taking the gospel out of just a confined four walls, but also showing people that it is more than that by just living it out.
I
Right.
was gonna say the same thing about just like this platform here, and just in general. I think that's kind of what's missing in the community. Like, I'm big on community and bringing everybody together, and I think a lot of our elders are passing away with all of the knowledge that they've learned throughout their life, and they're not giving it back to the youth. And I think sometimes that, if when that happens, when you see children or teens who have had a strong grandmother, grandfather, or just older adult in their life, they kind of look at things different. And I think that's what's missing a lot, especially now, because a lot of grandmoms are younger. A couple of my friends are grandmoms. We're only in our 40s.
Mhm.
My grandmom, honestly, she may have been in her 40s, but she didn't seem like it. She seemed like she was old. Like, all of our grandparents were old, and they seemed like they had all this knowledge and they knew so much. So, we're still trying to figure things out, where our grandparents, they had, so many different experiences. Do you think that that's something that could help with the youth that have been in prison? Like, I had a guest on our show. Her program is called Hey Auntie, and that's basically what it is. All the aunties who have helped her and her community, she's linking them with the youth so that they can work together and just learn. Do you think that's something that will help the youth that have been imprisoned, just to help set them on the right track, just to help them get a better sense of themselves?
Most definitely. Community is important.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what I hear you talking about. Having a support system, having people who love you, having people who encourage you consistently in your life. I interviewed a chaplain one time, a prison chaplain, and I was asking him what he thought people who were coming out of these facilities needed from faith communities. And he said to me, we don't need anybody to come and lead another Bible study, to have a prayer service, to have another worship experience. He said, we have plenty of that programming. He said, what we need is for somebody to be here when we release them, to pick them up. We need somebody to help them find housing. We need somebody to help reconnect to the community. We need faith communities to surround people, to give them different networks, family and friends that are healthy and supportive, right? To help them make that transition. So that's what I hear you saying when you talk about aunties. The other thing I would add to that is that people with lived experience are often the best people to help those coming out of those circumstances.
Yeah.
And you can apply this to a lot of different contexts, right? But people who have experienced the injustices of our legal system, people who've been incarcerated before, people who know what it's like, are in an excellent position to come back and say, listen, I know what you've been through. Let me help.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia actually has a large community of people who were sentenced to life in prison as children who have now come home. And they are giving back. They are reaching back. Their recidivism rate, I think, is 1%. I mean, these are
wow,
which is unheard of, right?
Yeah.
They are saying, listen, my life is not going to have been wasted because I was incarcerated. Now that I'm out, I'm going to contribute to my community. I'm going to help the young people who are experiencing challenges in their neighborhoods. So I think it's both of those. And then also, I think the church needs a bit more courage, perhaps. I sense that a lot of us, I'll just say clergy people, people of faith, are overwhelmed by what we see happening in the world. I mean, what we see happening in this city, in Philadelphia, the violence, the the seemingly disregard for life,
poverty,
right? You name it, human trafficking. There's so many social ills, and it can seem overwhelming if you think you are the answer to all of those things.
Right.
Nobody is the answer to all of those things, right? In fact, I would say maybe none of us are the answer to all of those things, right? Really, ultimately, God is the answer, but God uses people. And so I think it's important for us to know what it is we're passionate about and what are and how we can bring our gifts and abilities to bear on the issues that we're concerned about. Whether we come at it from, I'm a good writer, so I'm going to start writing letters to the editor, or I'm a good speaker, and so I'm going to be a prophetic voice with politicians and in the streets, or it could be I'm gifted in the arts, so I'm going to produce plays that raise awareness about these critical issues.
Exactly.
So people have to get out of a way of thinking that boxes them in. No, use what God gave you. To address these particular issues, or the issue that God has put on your heart.
So that is a perfect, for me, segue to how you founded the Fellowship of Women Clergy, because I do now want to just say to our audience, I want to ditto and affirm what Dr. Johnson just said, like, find your voice, as Reverend Dr. Sharon Fleshman said last week on our show, and speak that voice. You can't, everybody can't speak 7 languages, but speak the language that God has implanted in you. this show is a language for us together, an elder and a young person, right? And so in this space, we hope that we're reaching people and hearing, and giving information and resources and encouragement and all of that, so we all can do that, and it is like a shared responsibility. And so with that said, not only, God has given you so many gifts and insights and ways of helping our communities, inside and outside of the church. So here you 10 years ago, founded Fellowship of Women Clergy, which I'm a part of and I'm happy to be a part of. So we want to kind of talk about that because it's a huge event that is coming up
Yes.
on Friday to celebrate 10 years. But 10 years ago, something happened. You had a vision. So tell us about that and tell us about what's going to happen on Friday. 10 years, 10 years, 10
Somebody
years.
put 10 in the chat. 10.
Yes, yes.
So your question was, how did that get started?
How did that get started? Where are we at? And what's happening on Friday? All within like 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. Cliff notes. So
Cliff notes.
first of all, my vision was like this when we got started. I didn't know we would be the Fellowship of Women Clergy when we first got started. It was, I gathered maybe about 8 or so women together because I had a concern about the extreme pressures that clergy were facing, particularly clergy women. I had seen many clergy crash and burn around.
Mm.
There were a lot of clergy suicides we were seeing in the news.
Mm.
People losing their churches, people getting burnt out, all kinds of church conflict and fights. I just thought, people need a place where they can come and be supported. And so I put a sign up on the front door of my house that said, leave your needle at the door. Come on in. And we decided we would just relate to one another as sisters, and titles on the side, and begin to build a space where we could be transparent, begin to build a trusting relationship with one another. And it grew. People said, well, we need to do this again and again. And now we need a consistent time every month. So then it became a consistent time. Somebody said, you should get a Facebook page. At that time, nobody was really doing Facebook pages. I'm like, what's a Facebook page? Shout out to Reverend Mickey Davis for that idea. And so it began to grow. But I tell you, this is the thing that I want people to hear who are watching this, who may not be clergy. I have heard this sentence too many times. I have no friends.
Oh, wow.
So many clergy women have said to me, I have no friends. And what they mean is, it's not that they don't have people to hang out with. It doesn't mean they don't have any relationships or acquaintances with people. What they're really saying is, I have no one that's close to me that I can trust with who I really am, with what I'm really going through, with the struggles I'm really having at church. I don't have that. And I've had married people say that to me. Like, I
Yeah.
need someone I can share with. And so an intentional community for mutual edification of women clergy. And I say mutual edification because it's not Kimberlee Johnson pouring into everybody. That's not how the ministry is designed. We pour into each other. We help each other. We support each other. We pray for each other. We eat together. We socialize together. We have trainings. And all kinds of book clubs we've had in the past. And so it's designed to really be an enriching community. And here's the thing. I've talked to a number of clergy brothers. I don't know how many of them are going to chime in on this, but I've talked to a number of clergy brothers that have said, we see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I wish we could have something like that, but it will be very difficult for us to do. I just had this conversation with somebody a week ago, and it just reminds me that being a clergy leader can be a lonely place for people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
needs a place. So FWC, we've become a place. We're not the only clergy association there is, but I think we have a unique model of ministry that really seeks to build up the person, that really seeks to be a supportive space for those who choose to be a part of it. Hundreds of women have been a part of FWC. A couple of years ago, we got our nonprofit status. We finally decided maybe we just need to formalize this thing. And so we are a nonprofit religious organization. We'll be celebrating 10 years on Friday, I'm about to say February, October 22nd. We're going to have a dinner at 6 p.m. Listen, we will be honoring two trailblazers in ministry, Bishop Audrey Bronson. Come on now, give it up for her. And Bishop Millicent Hunter. Come on, give it up for her. A lot of us are standing on their shoulders. They've paved the way for us in many, many ways. We're going to be honoring them on this Friday, October 22nd at 6 p.m. We're going to have a dinner, a socially distanced dinner. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a program. And those of you who are part of FWC know that we do not do programs like church folks typically do programs. So it's going to be spirit-filled and fun. We do believe in fun, don't we?
We do believe in fun.
Yeah. We laugh together till we fall on the floor, don't we? So
on the floor, rolling, literally.
So we invite people to come and celebrate with us. Hopefully someone will drop the link in the chat somewhere, but we come and celebrate with us. This is not just for us, but we want to celebrate what God has done. We want to celebrate Bishop Bronson and Bishop Hunter, because we should pull their flowers while they can smell them. And we want to celebrate women clergy in general. There are so many who are pastors, so many who are ministers, so many who are evangelists. I mean, you name the title, who do not get appreciated, who aren't sure how much they are loved, who are often, let's just be honest, who are often discriminated against.
That's right.
Healthy church situations and spaces, dealing with issues of misogyny and all those kinds of things. And so we want you to know that we see you and that we love you and that we appreciate your service. So come out and be with us. It's open to everybody.
So as a member of, and we're putting it across the screen, it's called When Deborah Arose. We are celebrating women in clergy Friday, October the 22nd, this Friday. In person at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. via Zoom. If you are on my Facebook page, that will be posted there. You can go to the Fellowship of Women Clergy, and it'll be on that page there. And we do want as many people to come out. I want to say, as a member, as a sister, it is a place where when I was transitioning, when I was trying to figure out who I was as a woman in clergy, this was a safe space to come together and to hear shared experiences. You could be vulnerable and not feel embarrassed about anything. I mean, I can just do a whole show personally about the mentorship, the relationships that have been built one with another. I talk to 1, 2, or 3 women in the Fellowship of Women Clergy, probably more every week in some way, where we support one another with prayer and many other ways. And so, you know, if you're looking for a community, and as Dr. Johnson says, if you're feeling alone, you don't have to feel alone. This is a place where you can join together, and like Deborah did, rise up in our own agency and grow. It has been a absolutely wonderful 10 years, And I've had a lot of fun too in those 10 years. Let me just say that. But what do you want to say, Dr.
I
J?
just want to say thank you for being such an integral part of the ministry. You are one of the people that serves as the coordinator of our Koinonia conversations every other fourth Friday. Thank you for that. Thank you for being a friend. Thank
Oh,
Yeah, listen, I need friends too. Thank you for being a friend, for just for being available, not just for me, but for other women who are part of the ministry. And I just have appreciated all that you bring to us in terms of your opinion, in terms of your creativity, in terms of your service. I want
um,
you to know this Clergy Appreciation Month that I highly value and appreciate you.
oh, thank you. I want to just remind our audience that if you look back over your life, Miss was your mentor Miss James? Was that the woman, the elder woman? Was that her name?
She was the first one, Viola James, but there.
Viola James, right?
Mhm.
I want us to, think about Clergy Appreciation Month is this entire month. Um, think about someone that may not have had a title or did have a title, right? um, and let them know how much you appreciate them. Use this time to call them or send them a card. If you have to text, but make some personal contact and let people know just how much you appreciate what they have done. I often talk about my mom who went on to be with the Lord last year, and she in her later years became Deaconess Mary M. Dawson, right? But I always remembered that work that she did, and now that she's gone and God and Spirit is bringing me many things that she, not as a ordained or licensed woman, but just the connection and watching her serve God, watching her love God. So I hope that we take this time to really connect in some way and just say thank you, because that's what we're going to do on the 22nd, this Friday. We're going to say thank you to all of our two honorees and to many other clergy women. This particular Fellowship of Women Clergy, we are celebrating that in this month. Dr. Johnson, there were so many ways this conversation could have gone. Your activism, being a dean, a new dean, oh my gosh, mentorship. But in our short period of time, I think that our audience has gotten such great insight on the person that I have come to love and to thank God for in my own personal life. And I'm going to give you the final words in 2 minutes of anything that you want to leave with our audience, any words of encouragement, benediction, whatever you want to do. This time is for you.
Wow. I think I want to close by thanking God for some people who have influenced me. I mentioned Mother Viola James. I don't even know if she had a high school diploma or whatever, but I appreciated you making that distinction, because we sometimes think the people who influence us the most have to have the title or the degree, and that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
But I want to give a shout out to my mother, V.
Yay.
Johnson. There is nothing like her. She should be dead. She has beat the odds so many times just to be alive, and so she inspires me.
Wow.
I want to give a shout out to Reverend Dr. Dolores McCabe,
Yes.
who was quite instrumental in my journey in ministry. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Vivian Nix Early, who was the
Yes.
Black Dean at Eastern University,
Woo.
mentored me, and she just taught me so very many things. I want to give a shout out to someone that I don't know personally, but whose written work has really influenced me, and that is Mitzi Smith. Mitzi,
Yes.
you may know her name.
Yes.
And oh God, her book is escaping me that really impacted me. Oh gosh, is it something about SAS? I can't even remember the name of
Yeah, yeah. I it's in my head and it's not coming out. Go
it.
ahead, and I'll make sure I get it up.
But I thank the Lord for her scholarship and for that particular book that I can't remember the name of, because it really helped me in terms of bringing together the issues of spreading the gospel and spreading other good news, not just the good news of Jesus, but the good news that God cares about your plot in this life as well. So I just wanted to throw out those.
Woman is sass and talk back.
Amen. There we go. There we go. Thank you so much. And so I thank you for this space. I appreciate you giving me this space. Continue to pray for me as I serve as the interim dean at Palmer Theological Seminary.
Absolutely.
And I want to give a shout out to all of those who are preparing to be clergy, who are students there or who they are. I celebrate you too this Clergy Appreciation Month.
Well, thank you so much. And listen, audience, it's been a wonderful show. We so appreciate you being here with us on Sundays at 9 a.m. Come on back next week for another engaging conversation. And if you're in the Philadelphia area and you want to be in person at When Deborah Arose, come on out Friday at 6 p.m. But if not, everyone is invited to join us on Zoom at 7 p.m. And listen, we're going to continue to celebrate, and hopefully we'll see you at Sacred Space Ministries Friday at 6:30. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Go in peace, and let's celebrate a Clergy Appreciation Month. Tell somebody you love them and appreciate them. Be well, be blessed, and we'll see you next time.